like sends me the screenshot of from the school, from the loan people, like everything's on pause. And then not only my shorty, my son is in his sophomore year at Old Dominion University. You know what I mean? So I'm like, damn, I'm asking, I'm like, yo, how is this gonna affect every day? You know what I mean? How does this affect the normal Americans? And then, you know, with me working for a municipality, working for a school system, where in a school system, if anyone knows, majority of the funding comes from federal grants. You know what I'm saying? Schools, most peace. What's up, Purple Durag? Most public school systems, they get their money by having asses in seats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So even with one of my sons, I'm like, I told my son, you know, one of my sons, he stayed with his mom. I'm like, yo, bro, if you're not gonna be going to school, you need to go get your GED. You don't need to be half-assing and playing like you going to school and you really not going to school. You need to either go to school, finish school, or fucking go get your GED so you can move on with your life. You know what I mean? And think about what's the next step of your life. And he's like, well, my guidance counselor tells me that I need to go to school because this, that, and the other. And then, you know, me working in the system, I'm like, she's doing what her job is to do. Her job, she's supposed to tell you to come to school because that's how the system gets their federal funding for asses in seats. This is how they get their dollars. You know what I mean? It's for you to have a certain amount of ass in seats. Every single child, and this is not just the state of Virginia, but this is all over the country. The public school system, they get their money. The federal grants, they pay for these kids to be in school. So when the kids aren't in school, that means they get less money. They get a certain amount of money. I'm just gonna say, just throw a random number out there, right? I don't know, not saying the specific number because the numbers probably vary per state. So I'm gonna just say $15,000 or $12,000 per student being in seats. This pays for lunches. This pays for the facilities. This covers the cost for people like me to have a job, for my shorty to have a job, for these teachers, principals. This is how, you know, everybody in the public school system makes their money through federal grants. So I'm like thinking like, damn, this might actually be a real thing. So I'm like, I wanted to see, you know, what you guys thought about it. And from the time I left work, I had too much time to dig too deep. But me and Ferdinand were just chopping it up, sending some texts about it, like, damn. And my girl stressing out about this all day because she like in the last year her master's, and she like, well, if they stop the grants and the loans, like, how the hell am I finish school? And she panicking. I'm like, yo, chill. Let's do some research first. So I'm like, yeah, while we got it up here, let's check out what this news break said.
Well, before you bring it on screen, let's say what's up to the big homie.
What up, Purple Booray?
Man, I'm sorry for the tardiness. You know, niggas is always late, man. Niggas is always late. You know, hey, my son had his game tonight, man. I had to see it. Had to be front row. You know what I'm talking about?
You named the show the right thing.
Niggas late for breakfast, late for their own pod. When I die, I'm gonna be late to get cremated. He's gonna be 5 minutes late. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, we had to stuff his dick in there with him, man. We're gonna have to 5 minutes late.
I want to say peace to everybody. I know people might be tuning in from Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all of this stuff, but it's about 20 people scattered all over the thing. I want to say peace to everybody that's in the chat. Peace to everybody tuned in right now. I see the numbers in there. Keep share, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff.
All right, yeah. Hold on, not to cut you off. My bad, my big dog. But if you late for breakfast like I am Purple Do-Rag. We got Chips bring the cameras out. Guy with the book. My guy Mega Guns.
Hold on.
We late for breakfast.
Hey, bro, I don't know what this means, but I gotta share this comment. I don't know. Can we share the comments on the screen? Oh, here we go.
I can see that, Droid.
Bro said, if bro on the bottom left made an OnlyFans, he'll make hella bands. I don't know what the fuck.
That's gay. What the fuck is wrong with the Michael? I am a boy, Michael.
That was wild. That was a wild. Hey, yo, shout out to Michael, but goddamn, that was a wild.
Goddamn, bro. He came in this motherfucker spicy as hell. That's what happened when you late for breakfast, man. He's talking so in a straight way.
Yo,
that way.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we tapping into this. We tapping into this. This federal loan freeze that Trump put on, man, and it's crazy because, like I was saying, I'm talking about. It wasn't an hour time from me reading this article, hitting Ferdinand, my girl calling me, then sending me screenshots that they already sent out the letters. Like, yo, we need you to fill this shit out right now. Like, it's a pause on everything. You know what I'm saying? And my son was at work like that. What this supposed to mean? You know what I mean? So my baby mom's hitting me like, cause it's like people gonna be in panic because, like I say, federal grants, they cover a lot of things. But yeah, let's check this little news clip out so we can kind of get some context.
Am I coming in good, guys?
Going on. Yeah, you good money.
And you are late for breakfast.
Trump administration's ramping up its efforts on campaign promises today with a surge on undocumented immigrants nationwide. Trump also announcing a sweeping freeze on all federal grants, temporarily stopping billions of dollars in government spending, but with potential consequences. ABC's Christian Cordero.
Hold on. Before we go first, yo, look at the picture that they use and why she up there talking back. Look at this shit. Look at this picture.
You make it big? Oh,
yeah.
Let me ask you this, Chip. Did you see the picture he posted on Truth Social with him in the gangster hat? And it got in the background it say FAFO.
No, you gotta send me that. You gotta send me that.
Hey, I like how it's in a row like this.
Hey, listen. And it's crazy because for y'all, before y'all enter the chat, me and Fur was just sitting here talking about the law of auto suggestion. Now, if that ain't a fucking poster for the law of auto suggestion for your ass, look, whatever she about to say, it just give you. This is probably a liberal ass fucking message that's about to come.
Look at his face.
The picture that they chose to use of that nigga, man.
Big O in that bitch like. He loaded. He ready.
Yeah, exactly. It's going down. All right, let's finish.
Early this morning, President Trump's new Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, on the front lines of the administration's crackdown on undocumented immigration and promise of mass deportations. Sources tell ABC News the ICE operation included a member of a Venezuelan gang. Noem saying a criminal alien with kidnapping, assault, and burglary charges is now in custody thanks to ICE.
We're in New York City this morning. We are getting the dirtbags off these streets.
Officials say they're first targeting undocumented immigrants with a criminal history, but even those who have not been convicted of violent crimes could be detained. Nearly 1,200 people were arrested yesterday alone, according to ICE. That's the highest daily number of arrests since President Trump took office.
We've generally worked kind of behind the scenes in past, and that is not the vision of this administration. They want us out in front of the cameras.
And another Trump campaign promise to rein in government spending is set to halt billions of dollars in federal grants.
That's an answer to a question that we had the other day.
News directs all federal agencies to stop any grants that might conflict with Trump's executive orders.
Yeah, hold on.
A memo obtained by funding is set to halt billions of dollars in federal grants. A memo obtained by ABC News directs all federal agencies to stop any grants that might conflict with Trump's executive orders, potentially impacting everything from assistance to farmers, cancer research, and foreign aid. The funds were already approved by Congress.
This is a dagger at the heart of the average American family in red states, in blue states, in cities, in suburbs, in rural areas. It is just outrageous.
The only things explicitly not included are Medicare and Social Security benefits, plus assistance provided directly to individuals. The directive does not say how long the pause on these grants will last. Christian Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Like, comment, and subscribe, man. Like, comment, and subscribe.
All right, so guy with the book, Mega, Purple Do-Rag, what you guys, let me start with the guy with the book, man. What'd you get from that? Little ABC, shout out to ABC, the news affiliate of WHAS 11. But yeah, what did you take? What'd you take from that, man?
Federal grants touch a lot of different people in lots of different ways, as you were discussing just a little while ago, right? So we're talking about education money. We're talking about money to nonprofit organizations. We're talking about people's wages, their paycheck. When we're really talking about this, we're not just talking about the operation of the actual organizations. So this can impact the infrastructure majorly. Now, you brought up some good points about how you take away federal grants and you pretty much cripple the infrastructure of the United States of America. I would say that that's right and exact. So this would have to be something that more than likely is temporary. Right. And what the temporary time frame is, I'm not sure. But what I do know is that, and we talked about this last episode, this is a year of blessings for the ancient bloodlines of people. Jupiter is entering Cancer, and Jupiter is the planet of expansion, blessings, and abundance. And Cancer is where Jupiter is exalted. Right. So we'll see major blessings in 2025. However, what comes thereafter is something different. So this being a permanent thing, the reason why I don't see it that way is because of this being a year of blessings. If this would have happened on the second half of 2026, if this would have happened in like September, August, October of 2026, I would be like, yeah, man, this is permanent, bro. I don't think federal grants are ever coming back.
Well, when you say, you were saying if this would have happened in a certain time, you would take it more serious. But also, like, cause and effect is also a law of the universe. So, things don't just like necessarily happen overnight all the time. It's cause and effect takes place. But so this could also be a cause that what they say, what's that saying? They say not steamroll, they say snowballs into something bigger, Right.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because that's already been happening. South Korea just came out of martial law. They were in martial law for weeks. Israel is dealing with all the problems that Israel is dealing with. They're all over the media channels all over the world for what's going on there with the hostages who have been, many of which have been released, if not all of them have been released. But then at the same time, months ago, Israel was attacked by Iran. We got Ukraine getting their ass whooped by Russia. Right. We've got Great Britain going through a financial crisis. We got Vatican City finding ways to apologize to the melanated peoples of the world. Right. So when we have all of these things going on, this is the snowball. Right. You're watching it roll down the hill right now. It just hasn't picked up traction yet. In 2026 and 27, yeah, it's going to be rolling really, really fast. And it's going to be very big.
Right. Talk to me, Mega. What you see? What you hear?
From a mega perspective,
yeah, go ahead, mega, let's go.
I ain't trying to just make light of everything he do, but one thing I think he's doing, he know that last administration has so much stuff out of whack. I think he's stopping everything. I want to see where every dollar going. Y'all was throwing money here, throwing money there, throwing money. Y'all was just blowing money. You know what I'm saying? I want to see where all this money going, what it's doing, and then I'm gonna you know what I'm saying? That's what I think personally. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask you this. Did y'all hear about him wanting to stop taxes on American citizens and let the country get the wealth from tariffs?
Yeah, the tariffs. I did. So in that, this is why, like me, I'm not the person to be wanting to jump to conclusions. I ain't jumping off the bridge. But Shorty said something to me that was real, that made me think earlier when she was calling. I'm like, yo, we in the middle of the workday. Like, why are you stressing about this? I'm like, you don't even know. You done seen a damn Instagram or Facebook post. You running off with the shit. I'm like, look, relax. Let's do some research and, get a full understanding of what's going on before you just jump off the bridge. And I hit her with the old granny Popeye shit. I'm like, if everybody go jump off the bridge, would you jump off the bridge too? And she hit me back with some shit that I never thought of. I'm like, damn, I wish I would have heard that 30 years ago so I could told my grandparents that shit when they used to say to me. She said, it depends on why they jumping. She said it might be safer for me to jump off the bridge. I don't know why they jumping. And I was like, damn, that's kind of deep.
There might be some real shit going on that bridge.
Yeah.
She like, yo, the shit might be crumbling. It might be fire coming. I don't know. People might be jumping to save their life. And I'm like, damn, I never thought about it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Alexis Capers on Facebook said, I don't think they really care about the effect it has on the people.
Well, first I would say to that is I feel like true, but I want to know who is they, the big they in the sky. You know what I'm saying? I want to know who the they is, and me personally, I don't care what they care about. So I don't care about them not caring about the people because I don't care about them. You know, the big them. I don't care about them. I care about us. So that's where I'm you know, I'm coming from in my angle with it.
I'm going back to the part when the guy, I'll forget the guy's name, kind of blazed over here, but the old white guy with the suit with the white hair was talking to the reporter, and he said that the heads of the states, like the head of these FBI and all these organizations, are going to be in front of the camera, which that resorted back to when Meg was like, when the fuck the top hat start being in front of the camera? And we was like, yeah, that is kind of strange, but that answered our question because the commander told them, hey, y'all got to be in the front street now. If y'all remember that. I just remember that for some reason. I wanted to throw that out for the viewers and us so we can keep on our toes with this Trump and this Fed situation going on.
Because so I want to throw this in too. You know, a lot of them grants, them illegal migrants getting grants, a lot of people get, so that's why I really think, you know, like I mean, personally, that's what I really think. I just think it, you know, they was just blowing money, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, yeah, and listen, there's a lot of truth to that. I think for me, I'm more concerned about our house, you know what I mean? So, like I said, I'm thinking about, like I say, Shorty, she in there with her last year on her master's. She's thinking about finishing fucking school. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about my son who over there in Norfolk at ODU, and he don't never want to come back to Newport News and Hampton ever again. You know what I'm saying? He like, shit, I'm trying to finish school and get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking about it from those perspectives. You know what I mean? Like, because that shit will hit close to home.
Yeah.
And from a person, like I say, who works in the system, to where when they talk about federal grants and people that work in 501c3s, we do the boxing. We get a lot of nonprofit money. Like, we service nonprofit, like when doing them our summer camps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We make our money because we service nonprofit organizations.
So where did Trump say the money is going?
He said, nigga, pause on the money. Ain't shit moving.
Moving but the money.
No, not nigga.
The money ain't even moving.
Only the money ain't moving either.
Into what?
Only Trump moving.
Yeah,
only Trump moving. The money don't move. Nobody don't move.
But
only I move.
Mega was saying with some real shit in terms of he's saying like, yo, this past administration done did things so bad. Stop. Don't nothing move. Let me make sure this shit go. And you know,
because he been stopping federal like, you know, it was this office that opened up under the Biden administration called the office of firearm. It was something about reducing violence, firearm reducing violence. Bro, the day Trump got in office, that whole website shut down. And he just shutting shit down. Like, yo, all this shit, all that gun shit, we stop. He said this too. Like, the ATF had been making rules that we had to abide by, like laws, but the ATF don't got the right to make laws. He said no federal agency can make no more rules. Ain't no more rules being made. So it's like I said, it's really, he's stopping everything. Everything they did, I'm stopping everything. I got to see how everything moving. Yeah, I got this shit crazy. So that's
question.
Oh, go ahead, finish.
Do he get to run again after this?
Nah.
This is second term. But and here's the thing. I think I brought it up last time when me and Ferdinand was kicking about it, because if shit go into goddamn depending on what the scenario is, I think the last president that did this during World War II, I think it was Roosevelt, he was the last president that had 3 terms. He did like 10, 12 years because...
Right, we jump in just for a second.
Go ahead.
Everybody can shape their own conclusion from this, but I'm just going to give everybody the facts, okay? We've got a president in office right now who has full power and full immunity and does not have to be in a foreign war to have that. And that president just signed into law the death penalty, reinstituted the death penalty at the federal level, okay? My personal opinion, we might be dealing with someone who chooses to be president longer than 4 years.
And yeah, that's why I was bringing in the Roosevelt thing.
Don't break no motherfucking laws on the federal level, nigga. Yeah, it's gonna get it's out of there.
Yeah, that's why I was bringing up the Roosevelt thing, because the last time that happened was during World War II and during the Great Depression. And Ferdinand, what happened up in the heavens? What was going on with who? What was it called?
You said during the Great Depression?
Yeah, those 80 years ago. What was that? What was it going on?
All right. So 84 years ago, Uranus was in Gemini. And so we're talking about the World War II time frame. Yeah. And every 84 years, we deal with the exact same energy, and it's a lot of rebellion and revolution within the realms of communication. All that is the planet Uranus in the constellational space of Gemini. But this happens every 84 years. And anybody who is thinking, oh, Ferdinand just coming up with this guy with the books, he's just making this up, go to Google and type it in. See for yourself.
And that's what I'm saying. Them 80-something years ago, the World War II broke out. The 84 years, the 80-something years before that, goddamn, we had the Civil War run rampant. You know what I'm saying?
The bloodiest war, the bloodiest battle on this land in all of humanity, on this land, it happened while Uranus was in the constellational space of Gemini.
Yeah, so I mean, all of that stuff is in place. So you know. I don't know. So, but tell me what you was thinking, Megan. What you think about
like Beverly? Beverly done popped back in.
This DEI stuff. Like, do you think that these federal grants had something to do with the whole DEI thing, with the diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff?
I do, because the same way they use how people be like, we're going to do something for black people. And then when it comes time, they say we're going to do it for minorities, which include way more than black people. It's like the DEI, it seems to only apply to homos. I'm keeping it real, yo.
No, you're not lying, because the lady just broke it down.
Bro, I was just about, I think
we saw this, I think I sent it to you.
I was just about to
so crazy. Please pull that up, bro.
Let me share this video and see what y'all think about it. Hold on.
She broke it down so crazy. I was like, yo, because we was just talking about that, and I was like, yo, let me send this to bruh. Because it's just like the motherfuckers be in your head already. I was watching the jump where the light flash on your iPhone every second to make sure that it recognized your face and know when to stay on and know when to not to cut off.
So check this.
That shit cooking our brain, man.
Hold on, check this out.
Fucked up right now.
Crazy. Oh, I ain't see this one.
Oh yeah.
The term DEI.
That's the one.
I want to show you one of the fun.
The real F around and find out moment is here. A lot of people are looking at the Black community thinking that we are the recipients and benefactors of DEI programs and affirmative action programs. And I know affirmative action is no longer, but whenever they hear the term DEI or they hear the term affirmative action, They look to the Black community thinking that we are the benefactor. Now, here's some information for you. The number one recipient of DEI are white women. That is according to the U.S. Department of Labor. And others fall under that group, under the minority group, the ethnic minority. Number one recipient under that group are Latino and Hispanic Americans. Number two are Asian Americans. Number three are Native Americans. Number four, individuals with disability. Number five, veterans. Okay? And number six, the LGBTQ plus community. And guess who comes last at receiving DEI benefits? Guess who comes last? That's right. Black Americans. Black people. Let me also say, you can do a Google search and you will see the primary benefactors of DEI programs are not only white women, but white men, white male CEOs. Those are the ones who have benefited the most from DEI initiative programs. The real F around and find out moment is here.
All right, so look.
A lot of people are.
What you hear, Mega, what you hear, man, with the book?
Just like I said, without even knowing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, bro, that's why, like, personally, look, like how you, like your situation, I understand it fully. Like you said, you're worried about home. But in reality, bro, I'm tired of the crutches, I'm tired of the crutches, yo. It's like we always gotta have some type of crutch. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it don't benefit us, bro. It's like we get a crutch and walk slower. You know we get a crutch and do
and lay down. Yeah,
we get a
and lay down. That's it.
It's like, you know, and so it don't hurt me when I see certain things being pulled back when I never seen it benefit us. You know what I'm saying? It's just like smoking. It's like it's there to seem like it's supposed to benefit us. It's written up like it's to benefit us, but in reality, it never does.
Yeah.
So like, and I mean, but to hear that breakdown like that, I was surprised that the LGBTQ was number 6. You know what I'm saying?
Too.
No,
because that's all I see.
What's really crazy to me is that military is 5 and Latinos is number 1 or 2. Yeah. No, number 1.
Nah, white women was number 1.
Nah, that was on a whole nother scale.
Oh, okay.
But on the ethnic group, Latinos number 1, Asians is number 2.
Yeah.
And how does the LG something come into ethnic? Innate. That's insane. How you get a piece of what the fuck coloreds get? What the fuck? That is weird.
It's about paperwork, homie.
It's called paperwork, homie.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. When I saw that video, what it said to me, like thinking about what Megan was saying, what lady after I listened to what she was saying, I was like, oh, she basically saying, mind your black-owned business.
Damn right.
That's how I took
That's
that.
what I took from it. Mind your black-owned business.
Mind your
And you know what?
business.
My partner told me that shit a few years ago. I don't know what the fuck we was talking about, but you said that shit. You said mind your black-owned business, and I think when I first got down, started doing a little lawn care shit. You know what I mean? I think that's when you told me that though too. Boy, I remember that shit. I keep that shit in my head. I tell people, boy, hey, I don't really give a fuck.
And
now when they come knocking on your door, but I stay alert. I watch, I listen, because you got to be on your game because it's a bigger world than me outside. So I stay in tune with the natures that be with my people. and also what's going on in my country and outside this world, because I have time to.
Well, like I said, the shit hitting different now because I'm like I say, Shorty trying to finish her master's. You know what I'm saying? My son trying to get his damn degree so he don't never got to come back to Newport News again. You know what I mean? It's shit like that that's in play that make you wake up to it. But say just like I say with the election thing, like I always felt like I never heard them talk about black issues. So I'm like, it ain't my business. So I don't get into it. I watch the show. I watch everybody go back and forth.
Now it's personal because it's your business now. It's touching home now. You know what I'm saying? Right. So when like a nigga like me be like, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit until it's some shit like it happened to in my lane and affecting in my lane. Because until niggas don't have no place to stay and can't afford where they live at, then I won't have a job.
So the guy with the book,
it's the same shit, right?
When they talk about freezing the federal grants and loans, how far do you think that reaches?
Well, before I go into that, I want to touch the countdown or whatever, the order of importance of DEI benefits. So number 7 on the list was melanated people of America. I want everybody out there to know that when you take the most effective, talented, spiritual people on the planet and you turn them into a workforce, and you know their real history, you know they built the entire earth. Everything that you call civilization and society comes from them. You don't help them, because if you do, you put them back in a position to rule the world again. Now, to your question, I think that in a short period of time, they're going to re-release federal grants, and they'll have a big change to who gets that money, right? Trump will be heavily in control of that. But there will be that money pumped back into society, because you and I, we talked about it. If they cut federal funding right now by the summertime, the country will be in disarray, because there'll be too many people that won't have a paycheck that they can get every day. There's a lot of people who get paid every day from federal grant. Like some of us who got small businesses, if we see a federal grant, I might be, we'll be happy with $5,000, $10,000. There's businesses out here getting hundreds of millions.
Yeah, that shit ain't shaking shit.
Tens of millions of dollars in federal grants every single year. You know, so this would cripple the infrastructure of the United States of America if it's a cut right now and they don't re-implement something.
From my understanding, that's what the game plan is to do, is cripple America. You know, I watched some shit the other day, and it was just like how they lining up these ducks, and I kind of like see it. It's like the military ain't too easy to get into. They really want niggas on their shit for real. Remember, motherfucker, the stupidest nigga in the world can just go and be in infantry. Can't even do that no more. They don't even want a dumb nigga in infantry. You understand? They don't even want you in the meat shop, because they need a nigga that's gonna be war ready, that know how to modern warfare, move in the city, not shoot a fucking innocent kid that's playing with a goddamn stick when they walk in the building. You dig what I'm saying? So, and when Trump was in the office last time, I remember Trump going up there with the Muslims and the Christians and holding that globe. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck was that about? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I ain't really do my research on it, but
he had to fulfill the Simpsons prophecy.
The Simpsons prophecy? Hold on. I did see that too. The Simpsons is like, yeah, let's talk about that.
Hold on. Go ahead. I want to show y'all something.
A bunch of shit. Like, how? They say the dude that made it, the creator, was a fucking time traveler.
All I know is when they showed the joint in the cartoon, in the Simpsons cartoon, where
that's my
Trump was the president and he was coming down the escalator with the same color suit with the woman beside him. The dude dropped the sign and that shit happened in real life. That was crazy. I'm like, hold on, man.
That's but that's what we talking about with the globe and having the Muslim.
Hold on. Is somebody playing something?
I don't know, but that's what we talking about, Mega, with the globe that Purple Durag brought up. That was another thing that happened on The Simpsons, and it happened in real life, just like the escalator joint you was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, they also showed Trump in the casket too.
Well, he's pushing 80, I think.
Yeah, he's like 70 years old.
78.
78, yeah.
Are y'all not hearing this?
What is it?
I don't hear nothing.
I hear Day talking right now.
It might got a lag.
Okay. Hold on. Y'all real not hearing this?
No, sir.
It might be your imaginary friend you was telling me about.
No. I'm
I don't even know about that nigga. Hold on.
No, but yeah, we got a lot of things that's taking place in the world, you know. So obviously we got all these executive orders that's been signed. Everybody out there, please make sure you keep in mind the most important of all those executive orders. It is the death penalty. Because if you got a president who's got full power, full immunity, they don't have to be in a foreign war to have this power. Now they can start changing things that's written that might govern whether you could get a death penalty or not. Now, that's not going to really be important in 2025, probably for most people. Come 2027 and 2028, it's going to be very, very important.
My man Roadblock just said a DC judge just blocked Trump's efforts to freeze federal funds.
Oh, you said they blocked it?
That's what he said. And I mean, I want to send a shout out to my bro Roadblock. That's
shout out to Roadblock.
That's one of my brothers from the gun community. And he one of my biggest Trump detractors, bro. He be going at me, man. We be going at it, you know what I'm saying? But that's my bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, we be going at it, but that's my brother, man, for real. You know what I'm saying? And he be on this shit. So I mean, you know, if he said, I'm pretty sure it's something, you know, he do his research, so it ain't like he just be talking out his ass and nothing.
Hey Chip, you shout out Roadblock, homie. Chip, you were saying something about a video you want to show us?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm hearing last week's episode and it's driving me crazy. I'm trying to hear where the fuck this shit is coming from. But when
it's last week's episode, YouTube. You probably got YouTube pulled up. You probably got YouTube pulled up on another tab, and it's probably playing in that YouTube tab.
Figure out where the hell this shit is coming from.
Hold on.
If it's a tab on your computer, you should see a speaker.
Hear it?
Yeah.
It should show like a speaker.
It's a good question right here from the homie Mike Nice. Does any of those executive orders have to go through Congress? That's a great question, homie. I gotta read up on that and I can get back to you, but I'm not sure. Does anybody else got any insight on that?
I don't think the executive orders go through Congress, but they can be challenged by the Supreme Court.
Word.
I don't know if they do go through Congress or not, but I do know the Supreme Court can challenge them.
Word.
Because the Supreme Court challenged the birthright citizenship when that executive, they challenged that one.
Word.
So
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And everybody out there, you know, appreciate y'all logging in, checking out Late for Breakfast. We in episode 2. Is Trump and the feds out of control? Let's talk about it. Come on, keep hitting the comments, share the video. Let's get some people involved. Come on up in here and let's talk about it.
I finally found that motherfucker. My bad. I was over here losing my goddamn mind.
It wasn't us because I couldn't hear nothing.
Yeah, I couldn't hear nothing either.
Nah, you know how you be having fucking, well, at least me, I be having 20 tabs open sometimes. I'm like, yo, where the hell is shit coming from?
If you tune in, hold on real quick, brother, not to cut you off. If you tune in now, you late for breakfast with Purple Do Rag. Chip bring the cameras out. the guy with the book, and my guy. Mega Bills.
Hey, and if anybody out there knows the answer to my man Mike Nice's question, go ahead and toss it in the comments. We're gonna put it up on the screen.
I missed the question. What was the question again, bro?
I'm about to put it back up on the screen.
He said, "Does any of those executive orders have to go through Congress?"
So that's the thing that I was trying to say earlier too. I forgot which one of y'all was talking to, but an executive order don't make it a law.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? And I was bringing that example up because Trump tried to do this with the JFK thing his first time in office. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's 2024, 2025 now, and it still ain't go through. We still ain't see nothing. So just because
you didn't see it, they dropped the JFK shit yesterday.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, they showed the driver shooting him in the face, right there.
Nah, hold on.
Bro. Yeah,
so
on Facebook.
You said you seen it too?
I seen it.
But did they show some black and white?
This was in color.
No, when I say black and white, like did they show
it was in color.
In print? I know I'm not talking about the Sagruda film.
Yeah, nah. They just showed the video. They just showed they zoomed in and they stop it when the driver do this. And then they draw a line from the gun right to his head, like to just show you. Then you see his head, boom, man.
Because I don't know if y'all remember last week's show. I said that I'm like, yo, we used to watch the Sagruda film over and over. I'm like, nigga, that was a close range shot.
Look, bro, right after we was finished last week, I got in the shower and shit, and I was watching the dude Dan Calloway. And Calloway, he showed it right on his joint, right? I mean, right after we was talking, like I had showed it to my son. I'm like, yo, because to me, that's how the universe talked to me. We was talking about it, and then right after, the first thing I turned on is showing JFK getting shot in the head, bro. But
that's your phone. If your phone in your
that's correct.
In your house.
I'm bouncing around a little bit, but
let me shout out this comment real quick.
Dan
on Facebook on my page, Young Rudy. He said, "I eat breakfast for dinner anyways." I like that.
I like that too. Hold on. We might do got something. Before I play this, I wanted to know what you was going. I wanted to know your thoughts about Dan Calloway, man. It'd be interesting to hear the guy with the book, man. What y'all think about Dan Calloway, Mega and Fur?
I'm not familiar with him.
Who's Dan Calloway?
He's a researcher, a historian, I guess you could say. He does a lot of information about us being the original Americans. I mean,
a video for me.
His research is thorough, bro.
Thorough. He does have thorough research.
Put me on.
All right, I'm gonna put
you on. I like
it. He does have thorough research. It's just that for me, I'm gonna just keep it real.
Keep it a buck.
Before I've ever heard of a Dan Calloway, I've been taught my whole life we were here first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I don't think that says that we also. I think because he tried, in my mind, it's like you trying to wipe out the transatlantic slave trade, and the transatlantic slave trade was real.
Well, let me speak on that for a second. So I'm happy.
And I'm not saying everybody came over here on no boat because I don't believe that. But I'm saying the transatlantic slave trade was real.
Man, listen.
So the transatlantic slave trade was real, from my understanding, from my studies. But what I know at this point is it didn't happen the way it was explained.
Right. So, yeah. That's what he's saying.
The majority of the people today that are considered Negro, Black, Colored, African American, Black, they are descendants of the ancient people of this land, and there's a lot of evidence to that. Right. So the eye test is one. Another test is how
you gotta elaborate a little bit more when you say the eye test is one.
So let me go into it. Right. So circumcision is another one. Let's see, the mounds up and down the Mississippi Valley, along the adjoining rivers, all being built out of the earth, and then you go everywhere else and they're built out of stone. The references in the Bible, the book of Isaiah, chapter 11, verse 15. It speaks about the Egyptian sea and the 7 streams that come off the mouth of it. Then there's the state of Utah, where you got the Great Salt Lake Desert, right? So the Great Salt Lake's super important, but that Salt Lake Desert
and they got the salt flats out there too.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about with the Great Salt Lake Desert. It's the salt flats where people go out there and they drive their car 250
like a
miles.
mirror.
Yeah, it's super flat for like miles and miles and miles. I've been there.
Now peep this, right?
With a curvature.
To be able to have that much salt completely leveled out, that takes an ass load of water.
A whole lot of it.
A whole lot of water. Now, if you go south of that location, you get to Mexico, right? Well, there's some water between the two land masses of Mexico. Today it's called the Gulf of California. And I think on our last episode, I was telling y'all about the maps where I found a map. And I pulled these off of the Library of Congress archive website. If anybody want to check them out.
Damn,
One's in French.
One's
in French, the other one's in Portuguese. Now peep this. I did the translation. One's in French, one's in Portuguese, and they both translate to the Red Sea. The Gulf of California, right there between this side and that side of Mexico. Now that's very, very significant when we start talking about Teotihuacan.
When you say they translate to the Red Sea, what do you mean translate to Red Sea? You gotta give me some.
They translate to English to the Red Sea. One's in French.
You mean it translates to the actual word Red Sea?
They translate to the Red Sea. One's in French, one's in Portuguese, and you translate them to English, they translate to the Red Sea. Now, when we get to Teotihuacan, or what we might call Mexico City today, this is where the Aztecs are from. The Aztecs didn't call themselves Aztecs. They called themselves Mexica. They said that they were from Aztlan, right? Well, Atzlan is very similar to Atlan. And then you go over to Italy, and they might put a tis on it. Atlantis, right? And they found evidence of that over here as well, with all of the different indigenous structures they found down there, the Olmec heads, and all of this that correspond to one people who lived a certain type of way. There's a book that I have in the Mastermind Library called An Original History of Ancient America, the identity of the Aborigines with the Tyrians and the Israelites. And the copyright's 1843. The Europeans figured this out a long time ago. Our people need to come to the reality point that everybody who's on this podcast is a descendant of somebody who was really dope in the Bible or the Quran or the whatever. It doesn't even matter which religious doctrine you're talking about. Ultimately, when you trace it all the way back to the beginning, you got to come right here to this land that they used to call Septentrional, of the northern region. But in that same Latin dictionary, if you're looking at Septemtriones, it says that that's of the 7 stars of Ursa Major and Ursa Minor. Well, this is what they believe, the Europeans. They believe this to be the Holy Land.
That's funny. Yeah.
I heard that too. I heard a lot.
I want to check out this guy's videos though.
Yeah, play the video, Brody.
No, I don't got time for Dan Calloway.
Hey, boy.
Not tonight. Yeah.
It's something Dan
Not
Calloway.
only that, you got the voice. You got the knowledge and the fucking voice. Boy.
You talking about me?
He do.
No, I'm talking about me. Nigga, I'm talking about you. God damn. You got the voice and the knowledge, nigga. What?
Yeah, he'll be crazy for some Dan Calloway videos because
man, listen, bro.
Dan Calloway say, "I'm only here to make you think." You know what I'm saying?
Man, listen, bro.
So,
listen,
but my
bro,
thing
I
is,
love that shit, bro.
A
The
lot
combination of that. Hold on, Chip. The combination of that, bro, is amazing. And I want to give you your flowers on fucking live right now.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
My brother, Ron Parker, was like, yo, I like that guy with the book. He informative, you know, he
do know his shit.
Awesome and shit. So he on it, bro. Look, listen.
Truth be
got
told,
that, bro. Look, bro, you got me like, oh, I want to learn all this shit.
I got somebody who want to be a guest. He a sharp brother too, man.
Yeah, we need that. We need him.
He can pop in the conversation right now. What's up?
We need him on Thursday. We gonna get him.
Somebody got to send him the link.
I send him the link Thursday.
Here's my thing though, right? And I think where Dane Calloway, even a lot of, I'm not gonna lie, I first heard this as a kid from the Moors and shit, you know. That concept of there were no show me a slave ship, and I'm like, yo, that's the fucking most elementary shit ever. That's just like saying show me gravity. That don't mean it ain't no gravity because I can't show you no fucking gravity. And so when they come with this show me a slave ship, you know what I mean? It's like you never seen a slave ship. That don't mean I'm like, but they actually have it's imports and exports. They have documentation, their records of imports and exports.
If you ever been to California, you know that they got mad dams in this area right here to keep that land dry. So, you know that's an island in itself.
No, I mean with Dane Calloway, a lot of his information, his research is thorough as hell. Don't get me wrong, you know what I'm saying? And I was always taught, you know, that my whole life I was taught that, you know, we were here first. You know what I mean?
Each of those two maps. What I got circled, they translate as the Red Sea.
Whose maps are these?
Whoever the cartographer is, bro. I pulled them off of the Library of Congress website. I don't remember the year that these ones are, but the cartographers of each of these, one's from Portugal, the other one's from France. These are two different people who more than likely don't even know each other, and each of these cartographers have identified this waterway right here as the Red Sea. And as you can see, it used to be much larger than what it is now because it has the whole western portion of Mexico and California as an island.
Facts. They always call California an island.
I mean, if you want me to, I can go ahead and pull up the Library of Congress website right now and go to the maps if you want.
My whole thing is just like we were saying, what we were talking the other day is like, for me, just if you were writing a paper in school, you're going to cite your sources. So like, that's all. So I'm going to ask that with any, like, yo, who's the source? You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck what it is. We going to always want to, I'm going to say, who's the source?
Look at that map.
How do you accept the information without knowing who the source is? And I'm not saying that the information isn't valid. I'm just always going to ask.
Look at that map and look at that demographics of where the desert is right now, where the flats is. It makes sense. The Grand Canyon, all that right there.
Because, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's important because it say like up there, it says Florida and Canada. You see that. So that tells you French. You know what I mean? That says that because Florida and Canada, that's French. That's French. That's what I'm like.
Pick whichever one you want.
Whichever.
Yeah, whichever map, and I'm gonna click on it.
All right, pick that one.
Hold on.
Pick anyone. Pick the big one of America right there at the bottom.
The date of them is down at the bottom of each one. So these are newer maps right here, but you got some more ancient maps.
The older ones, yeah, I'm reading. You see who's going.
So, like for example, here go the East Coast right here.
These folk can't hear me.
Pennsylvania, Maryland.
You see Annapolis up there for shit show.
Now this one right here is obviously an English cartographer.
Yeah,
that's Virginia, North Carolina.
So like that's go to your right, to my right.
North Carolina.
Yeah, you're claiming North America. Do they have years? Yeah.
Read it.
The English claim all North America to settle in by discovery of Cabot in 1497 from latitude 67 degrees to Cape of Florida in 25 degrees, called the Newfoundlands, till Sir Walter Raleigh's
Voyage of
in 1585, then Fort Virginia.
I ain't never heard a nigga read the dialogue of this shit ever in my life. Keep on, bro. I'm enjoying this. Go ahead.
The English settlements by grants extend from sea to sea, or from the east to the west coast of the continent, where New Albi was ceded by its king to Sir probably Francis Drake in 1577. King James I, 1606, made grants to two companies, to one from latitude 34 degrees to 41 degrees, to the other from 38 degrees to 45 degrees. Carolina, Virginia proper, and Maryland fell to one. To the other, New England, New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Afterwards, distinct grants being made of them, Nova Scotia and New Britain. Virginia, or all North America, became divided into lesser parts under different names. Virginia, properly called settled in James R. 1607, north bounds by grant, latitude 41 degrees, the south 36 degrees 30 minutes, by agreements, and was run in 1729. Government and property in the Crown. New England, included in the General Virginia Patent, was granted 1606 and settled in 1621. The bounds extend from latitude 40 degrees to 48 degrees north, east and west from sea to sea, if not possessed by any Christian state, as by grant of James I, 3rd of November, 1621. Nova Scotia usurped by E. French, 1603, forced out by Argall, 1613, granted 1621 to Sir William Alexander, and E. Bounds was St. Lawrence R. on E. North and E. West, St. Croix by a second grant, 1635. It was enlarged to Kennebec R. to coextend Nova Scotia with Acadia, so called by E. French, as granted 1633 by Louis XIII, was 5 or 6 times conquered by E. English and given up to E. French, who in 1713 by E. Utrecht Treaty ceded it entirely to Q Anne.
So this map was a 150-year process.
I don't believe none of that now, because at the end,
hold
on, zoom back in. Hold on, bro.
The map was 100. This was
nigga said 5 or 6 times. You are the nigga that's recording this.
Yeah, you talking about
5 or 6 times
from 1577. You talking about from?
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
You did that shit, bro. But look, at the end, that nigga lied. That's my opinion. The nigga said 5 or 6 times. You supposed to be directed by it. You got all these exact dates, but no month. So, and at the end, it's 5 or 6 times. He was drunk by the time he finished this one. I feel you did that though. He served and all these other niggas, and they just served Sir Walter. They ain't really got no first or last name. We don't know who. All these niggas sound the same. It's always a Sir Williams in the history books back in the day.
Yeah, it's the vampire. It's the goddamn vampires map. You know.
Say that again, bro.
Huh?
Just say that again, bro. It's the vampire in America. When we were talking about California, let's go to California. Fuck the East Coast. We know about these niggas. We've been here our whole life. They go back to that island that's on the West Coast that they call California. That they dried up all that motherfucking ocean, that little, whoop to connect that land.
Watch this. This is what they used to call America, Septentrional.
Who was they?
The Europeans. It's in Latin.
European. Europe is a whole continent. That's, you know what I mean. Like French is Europe, and so is Germany. You know what I'm saying? So is Great Britain.
Septentriano is Latin.
Don't have the same system. The Chesapeake, Plymouth.
Like, comment, and subscribe. You're late for break.
That's El Mexico, Louisiana.
You're late for breakfast with Chips running the cameras out.
Cuts.
God with the book. Thank Mega TV. And Purple Do-Rag, baby.
But yeah, anyway, I ain't gonna hold anybody with these maps. I just want everybody to know, if anybody wants to see what America was to the Europeans, right? Because they don't have too many maps in the Library of Congress from Morocco or from Ghana. You know, they made sure to keep those maps out of this archive, but you can see the ones from the Europeans. And the thing about it is, prior to 1920, right, this is when the Great Reset took place, around the time of 1908 to 1920. And then there's a lot of censorship after 1920. Prior to that time frame, there's a lot of European.
What the Great Reset is, when you say the Great Reset?
Sure, let me come back to it, right? So when we talk about the maps, after the Great Reset, you got a lot of censorship. But prior to that, you got a bunch of Europeans who wanted to be the best at what they were doing, right? So you got to tell the truth for that. I got a whole bunch of books in the Mastermind Library and a bunch of books and maps in there that they told the truth on, like real talk. And so let's go back to Chip's question, the Great Reset. So the Zionists took control of pretty much the whole world in the 1770s, getting the most important land under control, which was this one, right? Revolutionary War, you know, the United States of America is established, blah, 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 the history, right? Well, they wanted to implement new technology. So you got to find a way to get the people under control before you implement this new technology, right? So the Great Reset takes place. You go ahead and you demolish so many of these buildings that are energy centers. You get rid of so many different types of books and material, and then you archive in certain places that only certain people have access to the original copy. You don't burn it all because you never get rid of the truth if you want to stay free. But for most people who were trying to get their manuscripts published, yeah, certain keywords wasn't even allowed. Certain things wasn't allowed to be put out after the 1920s. But this is the reason why we get the books from the 1800s. A lot of those authors were doing their work on behalf of a king or a queen because of how much money it took to be able to do the work and spend the time and write out those manuscripts by hand. Well, that costs an ass load of money. Well, who's paying for that? Kings, queens, and popes. Well, a bunch of these mofos wanted to tell the truth and get the story completely right. Well, why? They didn't want to get their head chopped off or their families, found out in the forest somewhere, naked and dead. All of these types of things have been happening for all time. Maybe not as much now, but it was very regular type of thing back then. Even Hitler's time, when his lieutenants would show up and they would give him information he didn't necessarily want, even if it was the truth, you're gone, right? So these guys did things in different types of ways. Obviously, you got some who was on Hitler's side, on Hitler's energy, and then you got some who they wanted the real truth, right? And I'm gonna pull up a book after. I'm gonna give the floor back to you, Chip.
Nah, when you mentioned the Great Reset, because I had heard that in the context of COVID before. And that's why I wanted to know, because of what you were saying, felt like it was aligning to me with what I was hearing about COVID.
Let me comment on that great reset.
Brings it back around to what the Trump thing is going on right now, because they were saying that COVID 2020 was the great reset.
Man, fuck that shit. Let me speak on the great reset and the mudslide and all that, man. You feel me? Like, if you look at a lot of old buildings, they have 1920, 1906, shit like that. Like, when they ain't even had no technology to even build these type buildings. And they have pictures of, even like, let's go back to Yankee Stadium, the first one, how majestic that shit was. And then you look around when they was building it, they barely even had trucks back then. You heard me? So it's like, okay, you see them moving mud. You don't see them really building no scaffolds, nothing. But you see them niggas moving mud. You hear me? So it's like, what kind of power base was that?
What you mean? It was no caterpillars. It was just a lot of niggas.
Let me read something to y'all real quick. That's gonna change everything. All right, so I want to give a disclaimer real quick concerning this book and what I'm about to read. When the author is talking about the North, he's talking about north of the border of Mexico today, okay? And when he's talking about Mexican America, he's talking about the from Mexico all the way down to the tip of South America. Okay, I'm going to read just one page, a portion of page 4 and a portion of page 5.
Can you zoom in a little bit for me, brother?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. That's
all right. So, and I quote, "The fundamental error with all writers upon the Aborigines of America is that they have viewed them as one people. Authors have, therefore, been confounded by the different customs and ceremonies of religion as practiced in the two great divisions of the continent. They have seen that the natives were, to a certain extent, in one part of the vast domain, idolaters, and not in the other. That the North was essentially Republican in every aspect of its political existence, while that of Mexican America was as essentially composed of kingdoms and empires, and governed by despotic monarchs, and that republics were interwoven with them, that each man in the North was a warrior and an equal, acknowledging no superior but their leader in time of battle. And should he fall in action, there was not a member of the tribe in which they politically lived but could have taken his place, and filled it with similar courage and ability. In Mexican America, they were not equal, but from the emperor they descended by degrees to the serf and slave. In that country, stone and stucco temples and palaces were, and still continue to be found, erected with costly magnificence, and in which were jeweled idols, to which they bent the knee. Their rich dwellings were splendid mansions, adorned with sculptured and beaten gold, and graced with the works of art, and as a people, enjoying all the refined elegances of life. But in the North, their temple was the azure canopy of Jehovah, adorned with its myriads of golden stars, and when beneath that sublime dome, they bent the knee, it was to the Almighty God alone. Their palaces were the gorgeous vistas of the forest. The columns were the gigantic trees, each year increasing in their stateliness. Their shadowy and painted roofs were the far-spreading branches and nature's tinted foliage. Their mansions were those of independent wanderers, even the simple tents of Israel. And as for for jeweled idols and figures of beaten gold, they presented the diamonds of the human eye, radiant with intellectual beams, and glancing from the living emblem of the first and priceless image placed in Eden's garden by the architect of the universe." Somebody say, I don't want to say nothing. I want to hear what y'all guys say about what I just read.
I mean, context is still important to me. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me. I can't really give you too much without proper context.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, it sounds like poetry to me because there's still no context.
Well, that's I was only able to read you page 4 and page 5.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you give me background of who wrote this, the time that it was written, you know what I'm saying? There's no context, you know?
Oh, I just put it up on the screen, but I'll give it back to you right now. We'll go right back to the author, to the page, to the cover. You're welcome to do whatever research you need to. And this book is in the Mastermind Library. You can go. It's down in the comments for anybody who wants to get the book.
That's the shit I'm on right now. Them Tartarians, man. That's what I'm on. I've been hooked on them boys. Oh, sir, you hear me?
Yep, I'm listening.
Hooked on them boys.
There you go, right there.
I'm gonna tell you something too. Like in Trump's first presidency, when they mentioned the Native Americans, he said the people y'all look at as the Native Americans are not the real Native Americans. This presidency, he's talking about pulling the funding for their tribes. Now, some people feel a way about that, but they ain't real. None of them Mongolian looking, straight hair, none of them, yo. None of them is the real native people to this land, yo. None of them.
This man right here, George Jones, published this material 20 years before slavery, quote unquote, comes to an end in America. And he did it on behalf of the Archbishop of Canterbury and the King of Prussia of that time. Now, when we think about any type of a manuscript like this being created by anybody that long ago, we talk about a lot of money that had to be spent. Anytime that happens, those kings and those whoever who commission this work, they get the best to do it. So there's a lot of ways that we can look at this and discredit this man's work. But then there's a whole lot of other things we can look at to make it make sense. One of the big things that he talks about in chapter 2 is concerning circumcision and how our ancestors of this land followed the law of Moses. He goes deep into this in the second chapter.
All right, so for me, it's not discrediting this. Go back, pull that back up for a second. I'm gonna look somewhere. It's not for me. It's not discrediting this man's work. For me, it's looking at Go back.
Well, I was giving you the real cover.
Back to the publisher.
That cover gangster. That look like Moses in the Pope.
Fuck that cover. I'm talking about the publisher.
I understand that, but I was looking at the cover. Excuse me.
This man in 1843, just for everybody out there, you read this book. This dude basically just aligned the people who are considered Black, Negro, colored, and African American as the descendants of the ancient tribes of Israel. Now, understand that obviously, Chip, you just said it. We've been talking about this for a long time in our community. But to see that there are Europeans who have tried to tell the people this, and to see that they was doing it this long ago, that for me was eye-opening.
They've been telling us, they've been saying, oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven. We already know about 7-Eleven. Like Christopher Columbus showed them how to get over here. They've been telling us. It's just not
like this. Not like this. It's one thing to talk about 7-Eleven in Europe with the Moors taking over Spain. This book right here is about this land that we're in right now. That's a totally different situation.
I'm saying even in Christopher Columbus' logs,
you're talking about the Moors in Spain.
No, I'm saying even in Christopher Columbus' logs, like there is documented where he tells you how he got here, and when he got here, he saw the same people that he saw when they was leaving the coast of West Africa. He was talking about the jewelry. He was talking about the coins. They were the same thing. And this is the white.
Yeah, but his logs don't go as deep as in detail.
Yeah, I'm talking about his logs predate. I'm saying his logs predate that work by 300-400 years is what I'm saying. previous to that.
Yo, Chips.
Yeah.
Break down the what's the 7-Eleven thing? What's that?
7-Eleven is the year that that they say the Moors, Morocco inhabited Spain.
Okay.
And it aligns with Christopher Columbus's voyage to North America because so then that's
what aligns with Christopher Columbus's voyage is when the Moors were expelled out of Spain.
It's 700 years, right? So it's 700 years where the Moors inhabited. But so when you say Moor too, it's up to interpretation because you have people that say Moor and they say Moor means black. Then you have people that say Moor and they'll tell you Moor means Muslim. You'll say people that say Moor and they'll tell you say Moor means Berber. You know what I mean? But just for sake of argument, North Africans, people from Morocco, inhabiting Spain, they come into Spain, they last about 700, 800 years. You know what I mean? So that saying, like when we hear the term 7-Eleven, they say, oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven, because where was Spain in the time where the Moors inhabited Spain is they were in the Dark Ages. You know what I mean? They didn't fucking know how to wash their ass, and they was fucking sleeping with their animals and shit like that.
All right, let me give a shout out to the guys real quick. Late for breakfast. You are late for breakfast with Chips. Not Chips bring the cameras out. The guy with the book, Think Mega TV, and Purple Do Rag.
Anybody want to learn something about who you are? Obviously, there's a lot of religious material to learn from. There's a lot of lip-to-ear information from masters you can get. But I would also say to use these books in the Mastermind Library as a reference for yourself. Books like this, Ancient Monuments of the Mississippi Valley, that was in the War Department Library. Why do you have a need?
So where can they get this information again?
What we call the Department of Defense Library. We called it the War Library back then, War Department back then. Why did you have this in your library? Why does my ancestors' indigenous structures they built, why does that got to be in your library? Why is it important to you, right? And there's a lot of information in here that'll show you. And this is an 1848 copyright on this book. There's some valuable information in here. So anybody out there who wants to get hip on who you are, hey, jump in there. You can ask us some questions.
And so, like, that's an 1848 copyright. And then me looking up the publishing company that put that book out. The publishing company is 100 years older than that book. You know what I mean? And so we got to think, and when we talk about in terms of, technology, how we receive our messaging, because Ferdinand had made a great point about that what it took to be able to put out information, by print press in these times. But it, according to Real Quick, these people, Longman, Brown, and Green, they published 36 William Shakespeare pieces. So, you know what I mean? Just because you publish a piece don't make it the fucking truth. It's a publishing for a read. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you just called out the Jay-Z of that time.
What about it?
Shakespeare.
I'm saying
Michael Jackson of that time.
Yeah, he was the Jay-Z of that time, but that don't make Jay-Z the truth. I'm saying Longman, Brown, Green, and Longman's, the publishing company, is fucking Universal Music. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, it's a publishing company. They putting out the work. And then, and at this time, now we're privy, we have access to get it. But in these times.
So what my brother is saying to the niggas like me.
What I'm saying is this.
They control the words.
So common people have not been reading for 100 years yet. So when we say, why would these people put these writings out? You're thinking about in a fucking modern day mind, because the modern man, like the common folk, has not been reading for 100 years yet. I'm talking about white, black, whoever.
So
we haven't been reading for 100 years yet.
So were they putting the truth in those books back then because they felt like other people weren't reading?
I mean, it's all perspective, because it's like saying 4 corners of the universe, like they used to say 4 corners of the earth. Is the world flat? You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's why you say, are they putting the truth? You know,
the same people that told us it's a globe told us it's from Africa.
When you say people haven't been reading for 100 years, that I disagree with. If maybe what you mean, and you might mean they haven't been reading for 100 years, but if what you mean is they haven't been comprehended properly,
no, I'm saying
reading the right material.
No,
I would agree with that because but this is the thing when we think about people reading, keep in mind that TV is new, right? I'm not talking about radio is new. Our ancestors and our grandmothers, our grandfathers, they were reading. They just might not have been reading the right stuff.
Who? My grandmother. That's not 100 years old. That's not 100 years ago. Still. I'm saying I'm talking about the masses of people, the majority of people. Like public school ain't even.
I thought you said the last 100 years.
Huh?
I thought you had said the last 100 years.
Yeah, I said we ain't been reading, but less than 100 years. I'm talking about the masses of people. Like the masses.
I think that we've gotten away from reading. I think that we all were reading, and then we slowly started moving away from it because technology kept advancing. You get the radio, then you get TV, and then eventually you get video.
I'm not talking about radio and TV. I'm talking about word. I'm talking about the masses. I'm not talking about a select few. Like, all right, say for example, when they talk about the Bible, the Bible was written for clergy and shit like that, right? So the masses of people everybody didn't have a fucking Bible in their house. I'm saying people did not have access to written word. People were not reading. I'm not talking about, oh yeah, a person could read. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people. Like even you'll see in movies like fucking Life, the mailman come and bring the jail letters and be one nigga got to read the whole jail day letters because people weren't reading. I'm not saying every single person could not read. I'm talking about the masses of people. Like education, public education wasn't even a thing. Like everybody wasn't learned in English or in any language for that matter. Like it wasn't written word. Everybody didn't do written word. It's just a fact. And you can look and show me, show me some people reading. I'm talking about the mass people aren't reading in 1800, in 1865. There weren't people. This is why you got people. It took them fucking years to even know that treaties, that the Emancipation Proclamation, for an example, was written because people couldn't fucking read. Everybody didn't even have access to written word.
So was they telling the truth though? Because they felt like people wasn't going to be able to read, or they planned that people would be able to read in the future. So they was like, okay, let's put these words together. So when they do know how to read, we can make them believe this shit.
I just saw. All right, I'm just pulling up. What is this? What side is it? British Reading Short History. They said, and this is British Reading Short bookbrunch.co.uk. It says by 1714, 30% of the population was reading. And 10% of women. You know what I mean? This is just a random number. But even in how the hell you think they got those numbers? Where do those numbers come from?
What was the census
created? They say in late 1400s, 10% of men were literate.
So that means a very little bit of people.
I'm still going with that. In the last 100 years, we've gotten away from reading because you go back far enough. Over there, so that's now the 1930s, 1940s. So think about melanated people and think about poor white people, right? Mm-hmm. They probably are having trouble with affording a radio or affording a television. So when they're at home, somebody in that house is reading a story to the children, the newspaper, or just a book to get their mind off of the work that they did that day. But technology is what got us away from that.
I mean, you know, reading is technology. Newspapers are technology. Let me see.
We lost Purple Do-Rag.
Technology is just new.
No, you didn't. I'm right here. My bad.
A pencil is technology, Ferdinand.
Technology.
Yeah, I'm just saying technology doesn't mean electronics. You know, a pencil is technology. A bow and arrow is technology. Was a technology at one point in time.
Either way, technology advancements it has pulled people away from reading. No matter which way you look at it, whether you want to
got any videos,
Crayola and crayons and the really cool watercolors that they've made to paint with, or whatever. Like, all of this is technology, like you said, and each of those things has pulled people away from actual reading. And then when we look at the school system today, there's a lot less reading than ever before. When each of us on this podcast was in our youth, we had paper bags that we get from the grocery store, and then we wrap our books with them janks. And then you had the heavy book bag because you had 4 books in there that was kind of big, right? And you had to read them books in school, right? But in today's world, the children ain't got nothing in their book bag except for a bunch of empty wrappers of chips and candy
and a laptop.
And they in the laptop, right? And then they go to the laptop to read one paragraph of the whole chapter we used to have to read.
Yeah,
and they don't have to pass.
This is from the National Center of Education Statistics.
What the fuck? Have you ever heard of that? Not the No Child Left Alone or some shit program that they got going on?
Left Behind.
No Child Left Behind.
Yeah.
All right. This is from the National Center of Education Statistics. It says the number of births, population size, and important determine the scope of the school system. But the relative size of school age population is also important, consideration when examining the impact of the cost of education on the adult population. In 1870, about 35% of the population between 5 to 17-year-olds. This proportion fell rapidly to 28% at the turn of the century, but further changes in the beginning of the century were very small. In the 1930s, the percentage of 5 to 17-year-olds in the population began to decline, reaching a low point to 20% in the 1940s. During the late 1960s, the proportion from 5 to 17-year-olds rose to 26%. However, the population has fallen in recent years, hitting 18% in 1991. I was pulling these, saying too, like, when you think about like the times, like the 40s, everybody wasn't even going to school. These are the time where people worked, so everyone didn't read. Like, education didn't have the same emphasis.
What year was that published that you read that?
Huh?
What year was that published when you read that?
It said this article is 120 years of literacy. Oh, well, maybe. All right, boom.
I got a question for you, right? How did Frederick Douglass learn how to read?
I'm not saying. See, this is what I'm saying. It's not 100% of nothing. I said that from the jump. I'm just saying
all I'm saying is some people learn in the home. That's
when
all.
Was that? When was that?
They say Frederick Douglass was taught by his fucking white parent. That's what the rumor is. You know what I'm saying?
It was in the home, right?
Yeah, they say Frederick Douglass was taught by his white.
When was that?
Parent.
When was that article or book that
I'm looking for? I'm looking.
Hey, so Meg, I got a question for you. Since we kind of touch on education here, and you got education programs for helping children learn how to use weaponry in a responsible way.
Mm-hmm.
Help us understand your process for educating the children, and what type of materials do you have them reading?
As of right now, the only The only children I really have been working with is my own. You know what I'm saying? So with them, my youngest son is 5. I got an 19-year-old daughter now. I didn't go as in depth with her as I would like to. I really, my plans is really to raise my little man into like the full, you know what I'm saying, like everything, because it's kind of coming at the same time. Like honestly, like when I started school, he been living with me the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So, like my plans of what I'm gonna do is for him. Now, I did start working with the firearms instructor at my job, because being that I'm taking my certification in March, but so I'm in the classes with him. So we just had our first class last Sunday, and basically with the gun thing, I try and start real slow and minute, because I being that I'm working the range now, I'd be shocked at how some people are just not knowledgeable about guns at all, like some of the basics. Like for example, we have a test that if at our range, if somebody wants to rent a gun, they have to be able to release the magazine and lock the slide to the rear. Now that's something that seems very simple, but if you are proficient with firearms, it's very simple to you. So I be having to remind myself that everybody is not as into it like I am. So I got to try and fill out where they at. Like this one thing I mentioned this up. I brought this up to my trainer, the head trainer, and I said that when I start my classes, I'm gonna do a little 1 through 5 thing where I'm gonna say, what's your comfortability with guns? With 1 being, I'm totally scared of them. I don't want to touch them. And I ain't gonna have every number. 1 is totally afraid. 3 is, I'm not scared. Well, yeah, I ain't scared, but I'm ready to learn. You know what I'm saying? I'm interested in learning. I'm ready to learn. And then 5 is like those who, I got it, son. I'm ready to just get right. I ain't scared of them. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to I just want to learn how to shoot right. So, because what that can tell me is, even though it don't tell me your level of skill, it tells me your level of comfortability. And that's where I really got to start with. So like I said, like with a kid, like with my son, yeah, he see him and all of that. But like I said, before I even let him shoot a gun, like especially with like a Glock, something simple like a Glock, I'm gonna show him how to break it down. You know what I'm saying? Like I want him to know the fundamentals about how the gun works before you even start working with a gun. So that's how I do it when it comes to guns, because and then again, because the level of danger involved. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not nothing to play with. Like even if my son play with his little Nerf gun, I'm teaching the fundamentals already. Keep your finger off the trigger. Don't point that at nobody. You know what I'm saying? Don't point that at nobody or nothing. Nothing. Don't point at a TV. Don't point. I got a little target. I'm like, that's what you shoot at. You shoot at that. That's it. So it's like, I feel it's big on giving people the fundamentals so they can gain comfortability, because a firearm don't hurt nobody, just keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? That's why, like, my tagline, I say be responsible. Like that's the main thing. Be responsible with this. Like, and that's what I want to get, like when you were saying, like with the more teenage kids, like the teenage level, I feel like they need to have a broader understanding. I just think it's like, because you go from playing Grand Theft Auto to just picking one of these things up, bro. Like, nah, it ain't. It's way more serious than that. It's way more serious than that. So, like, that's really what I really try and do. Just try and start slow. Try and start real slow from the real basics. Because, like, the thing with me, I was totally green. You feel like in 2020, I really got into guns heavy in 2020 COVID time. So I was totally green. So like all my homies who knew way more than me, now all like, bro, you know more than all of us now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just try and keep that in mind. Like this shit is like, it's so serious that, let's just start from the basics. It ain't even about shooting. It's about knowing what this thing is, knowing what it does. You are actually operating an explosion in your hand. This is an explosion in your hand. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, straight facts, man. Yeah, trust and believe. I know it. My 30-year-old Elijah, I was able to take him to the range years back. He was 6 or 7 years old, and he was shocked at that at the muzzle flash.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so it was good for him to see that, to understand what this thing can do.
Right.
To pick one of these up and point it at something and pull that trigger.
Yeah.
You know? And I think it's important for children to learn that from father figures. You know, my first time really getting into guns consistently was ROTC in high school. Okay. You know, and then right after that, I jumped right into the U.S. military, and now I got a real gun. I got real bullets, and I gotta have a certain level of awareness with this thing, because it's not even really about the enemy sometimes taking your weapon when you're in the military. It might be your sergeant. And then when you see him again, your ass is grass, right? But muzzle safety, being able to lock the slide to the rear, being able to drop that magazine, being able to apply the acronym SPORTS, right? To deal with muzzle jams and things of that nature. All of this is important, because if you're in a real situation where you got to shoot and that thing jams,
right?
Not only do you need to be calm, but you need to know how to
do. Yeah,
you need to know what to do to get that weapon to work again.
Yeah,
or sit and duck.
Exactly.
You're right.
So all my niggas like me, clean your motherfucking gun. Goddamn. Don't roll with the motherfucking felonies, because your ass going away for a ton. You know what I'm saying? You got a high point. This your first shit. Go on YouTube. They'll teach you how to do that. I ain't about to tell you a motherfucking thing. But listen, be safe. You know what I'm saying? When you fucking with them guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the first thing that anybody need to learn about handling guns, to me, because the gun can sit there and that bitch can grow rust on it and never shoot again until a nigga come and restore it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So idiots with guns kill people.
Yeah.
You know, like on some demon shit. But, you know, I ain't talking about self-defense, you know, war. I'm talking about a stupid motherfucker.
Yeah. What's this?
So these are different types of tank battalions and other types of infantry and field artillery battalions, and the type of weaponry that they have, the type of, as well as the type of ammo. And you can see the range of each of these rounds.
Yeah.
What the military has in its arsenal, some of it anyway. And obviously it might be a little challenging for everybody to understand this, but these are some pretty big rounds right here.
Right.
125 millimeter rounds, 14 millimeter rounds. These are some very large rounds. Right. So this is something you don't want it coming anywhere close to you. Because even these 14 millimeter rounds, if they come close to you, let's say within 3 to 5 feet, they're probably going to blow you a couple feet back. And if they actually hit you, you might fly 20 feet. So understanding these types of things is good for military or whatever, but it's also good, I would say, for children to learn these things so they understand what these weapons can do, as well as what the cost would be if they choose to use them ever. You know, because the cost is exactly what Purple Do-Rag was talking about. However, the cost is how you get to sleep at night, what your daydreams is like. Because depending who you choose to use this weapon against, if you ever do choose to use a weapon against anyone, well, you're going to always remember who you connected with when you pulled that trigger.
Yeah.
Always see that face.
And you know something, man, like that's something I say too about, you know, about getting more experience with it for the teenagers and stuff like that, the younger group, because you know, when you, like I said, when you learn how to shoot, like for me myself, you know what I'm saying? Like when I being that I know how to shoot, I have a lot of guns, but I know a lot of people with guns that don't never shoot them. They just got guns. So my thing is, when you know how to shoot, bro, I would never want to pull my gun. I never want to do it because I know what's gonna happen, bro. I don't want to do that to nobody, yo. I don't want to do that to nobody, bro.
Facts.
Like even me, when I talk, I ain't even into hunting, you know, and I don't knock nobody that hunt or nothing like that. But I'm not like, I don't want to take, like, I'm a target shooter, bro. I'd rather shoot targets, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what I get my thing from, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, like, yeah, but when you really know what you're doing, it'll make you look at it different. Like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, bro, like, you know, that, and that's also why I said, like, how I live my life different. I started moving differently when I got my concealed weapons license, and I know it's on me every day, all the time, and also I know how to use it. I don't want to be in certain places where something could happen. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up. So I just limit my movements for real, yo.
Yeah, yeah, that's fucking true. That's
do we have any do we have any videos to show? Have you seen it? You seen it tonight?
Yeah, let me before I get off, because I told you I gotta go and do some editing and shit. I still got some shit to turn in the morning. But before we go, if we
I'll get into some soldier stuff. I have everybody in here turned into a sergeant major.
No, that'll be ill too. But like I said I gotta get off this jump before 10. I still gotta finish this shit before I lay down. But I wanted to ask a question, thinking back to the literacy thing, right? And taking me back to Dan Calloway. It's something I've often thought about, dialing back. Anybody up here, especially the guy with the book, Mega, not mentioning Denmark Vesey, not mentioning Dred Scott, not mentioning who'd you mention earlier? Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman, who were the notable ones? Nat Turner. All right, name me some Africans, some Moors, Americans, some melanated people from slavery times from 1492 to 1865. Not name Sojourner, not name Dred Scott, not name Harriet Tubman. Not
Benjamin Banneker Bay.
Huh?
Benjamin Banneker Bay.
I mean, Benjamin Banneker, that falls in the same bucket as Harriet Tubman. Those are the same people that we all know. Not Benjamin Banneker. We know Benjamin Banneker. All right. So name me somebody that's not named Benjamin Banneker, Frederick Douglass, Denmark Vesey.
Nigga to name somebody, then name somebody and say not him.
I'm saying because I'm talking about the same 15 people that everybody knows.
Everybody don't know who Benjamin Banneker is.
Everybody knows who Benjamin Banneker is.
And she was
everybody on this call knows. Everyone knows who Benjamin Banneker is.
No,
there's no person that doesn't know who Benjamin Banneker is.
So why do you want us to pull somebody up? Like
I'm asking you first. No, I'm asking you to name someone outside of Sojourner Truth, Benjamin Banneker, the normal 10, 15 corporates. I'm asking you, can you name someone?
Mary Bethune-Cookman.
Right. Okay.
That's
in the same pot. That's in the same pot. Yeah. That's in the same pot. He's proving my point.
Adam C.J. Walker.
Adam C.J. Walker wasn't no slave.
I forgot his name, but he's the founder of Hampton Institute, General somebody. He was Booker T. Washington's mentor.
Okay, General somebody.
Master P.
But he was the founder.
P, nigga. What did you talk about?
No,
Master P was the first nigga that got that check for them bitches.
Go ahead. I'm for real. Shoot him, Mega.
I can't think. If it ain't
I'm giving you 400 years, so this is what I'm trying to show you the lack of literacy. Because I'm pretty sure if we were literate, that there would have been more of us written about and more of us read about. And
Not
this
necessarily.
is a 400-year span.
After what I just explained about the biggest secret in the entire world, the biggest secret in the entire world is who the people are who are considered African American in this country right now. So when that's the biggest secret in the world, because you got all of the nations working together to keep the secret. Well, that would mean that when you go back, when you go back 150 years, you got to live in the reality that this was still the biggest secret that they were keeping. And it was a lot easier to keep that secret at that time.
I'm talking about this time. In this time. All those years ago, they probably didn't know who Benjamin Banneker was in his time of existence. They probably didn't. People probably didn't. Our own people didn't probably know this. You know,
John Hanson. Huh? John Hanson.
Dead. Okay. That's
William Shakespeare.
Same boat. Same boat.
That's the first president.
Yeah, we already know that. Other articles of Confederation. We already know that. That's what I'm saying. Them same 20 niggas I can fit in this
Julius
cup.
Caesar.
Huh? That's what I'm saying. You talking about them same people that go in the bowl. You know what I mean? I'm asking you rather to name this outside of those same people that are in the white boy book.
What was the question again, bro?
Huh?
What was the question?
Name someone melanated influential of the
Not
last
even influential. They don't even have to be
influential.
influential.
Okay. Hold up. I got one in my era.
I ain't talking about your era. You weren't living it. I
gave bring the cameras out. Inspired hundreds of niggas, thousands of
yeah, you off subject. You off subject.
Right now, we talking about today's time. You want to talk about?
I said you could name more people in 2024 than you could in a 400-year time span.
Huh? That makes sense.
And I'm telling, and the only people you're gonna name, only people that any of you guys are naming is the same people the white boy wrote about.
I'm not gonna name none of them people. I'm gonna name you because I
know
that you inspired to do better, and they could have did worse, and they did better.
Hey, somebody mute him.
I'm gonna name you. Fuck is you talking about?
What'd you say?
I'm gonna name guy with the book because my brother was.
What'd you say, Ferdinand?
I said a lot of our people weren't written about.
I'm gonna name Mega because
you said we weren't written about, but we weren't writing.
A lot of our people weren't written about at that time. What was happening is the people that we were working for, they were getting written about, like Thomas Edison. Like
problem wrong with niggas. They looking for niggas that's either dead or too far away from the reach. They not looking
like
for
Carnegie
around them to help them get better. You heard me?
Saying, the white boy, he wrote about Joseph Sinclair.
Man, fuck that white boy. I'm talking about the niggas.
The white boy wrote about Nat Turner. The white boy wrote about Denmark Vesey. Everyone that you said that we named, the ones that we know, Dred Scott. The white boy wrote about Dred Scott. All the ones that we know, right? And I'm saying, if we were literate, if we were reading and writing, why don't we know about our people from a 400-year time gap? Only ones that you would name is the ones that worked for the white boy.
All right, so I can easily explain this, right? When it comes down to answering that question, we're talking about how a group of people was white and many of their ancestors were killed and their bones were put up under cathedrals in places that we call catacombs. And then there's mass graves all over the place of our people. Well, when you kill the ancestors and you wipe the people, now you teach them anew. You focus on one subject in the beginning and then you start expanding, right? Well, this is how you indoctrinate a people for generations. And then there's only a few who are going to be strong enough mentally to not fall in the curse.
I mean to cut you off. You are an ancestor. You are knowledgeable.
You said, I mean,
yeah, you understand what I'm talking about?
That ain't the question.
Fuck, they're not gonna resonate with no nigga that died 130 years ago, bro. 60 years ago, 50 years ago. They gonna resonate with a nigga that's alive right now. That's why Martin was important. That's why Malcolm was important.
That wrote a map 200 years ago.
Fred Hampton was important. That's why Huey was important because they was in the now. We don't have nobody in the now.
You not listening to yourself,
nigga. We don't have nobody in there now to talk about what's going on.
Bro,
everybody reaching so far in the past. Let's talk about now. What a nigga that can talk about now?
You was just throwing a Super Bowl party for a 200-year-old map. What are you talking about?
I am talking about resonating with the people.
All right.
Turn this microphone off.
People then, when motherfucking Huey was around and fucking Fred, they was resonate with the people then. This is what I'm saying. It's nobody to resonate with the people now. That's what I'm saying.
The people not listening right now. That's why
we just so deep in the past trying to pull them niggas up out the grave. Them niggas is dead.
Nobody's doing that. What are you talking about?
We are on that. Yes, we are. You not listening to what y'all talking about. I've been sitting right here like this. Listen.
Hey, Purple Durag, I've been giving away the information for 7 straight years in multiple different ways. Writing long ass essays on Facebook that are damn near MLA or APA.
Proving my point, niggas ain't literate. Niggas can't read that shit.
Yeah, but I'm also saying that I'm giving it away in so many different formats. So it's podcasts. There's recorded videos. You recorded one of them in my office some years back of the corporate structure setup. Right. So this information is being got out to the people, but the people don't want the information. Or if they get it, they want it from somebody who they can damn near verify that their bank account says at least $1 million. Or they're wearing a nice suit, got a shave. You know, the people don't want to get the information. They don't want to do what's necessary to properly ingest the information.
They don't want the information.
I don't believe that's true. Mega brought up Dane Calloway.
And I'm just saying, there's no leader right now.
Nobody looks at Dane Calloway as no money maker. Nobody looks at Dane Calloway. Don't look like nobody you want to be. He's not. But his information is thorough. So people tune in. And don't nobody care about what car Dane Calloway. Anybody who's really spilling, who's giving the truth, they don't care about nobody's bank account. I've never heard one person ever talk about Malcolm's bank account, Garvey's bank. Nobody cares about that.
Even if you bring it to the day, people don't talk about Umar bank account. People don't talk about.
That's what I'm saying. That's a scapegoat. When people are like,
it's not necessarily about them talking about
no bank account. We talking
it's about people following what they.
We don't have nobody to sit out here and really speak for the people.
I can agree with that.
We use this nigga, even though we got all different point of views and views and shit.
What'd you say again, Ferdinand?
I was saying that it's not about people talking about other people's bank account, because most people not going to do that in a public setting. It's more so about how people follow what they believe is money.
I can say I can agree with that, because like, even though we don't know what's in Umar's bank account, a lot of people look at him as a scammer, so they think he might got a little something. I mean, I'm just being real. Tariq Nasheed, now you know he got the DVDs, the documentaries, the movies, so you know he ain't broke. People know he ain't broke. You know what I'm saying? So I can kind of see what Ferdinand is saying, the guy with the books, you know, because like, it's the image. Like, let's keep it real. Even with rappers, we know rappers don't be having bread like that, but the imagery, the way they portray it, it makes people want to be like them. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Rap is a little bit different. But all right, I'm thinking like, I'm looking at it in terms of the poor righteous teachers of the planet Earth, the most followed men in the history of this world. No person is looking at their money. I'm talking about your Jesuses, your Prophet Muhammad's, your Moseses. I've never heard nobody say, oh, Jesus died broke. I've never heard nobody say that. I've never heard nobody say Prophet Muhammad, and people die for them. And nobody brings up their fucking bank account.
Yeah, but I'm talking about what people today have descended to. I get what you're saying about prophets of the past and what you're saying.
I'm talking about today. I'm talking about people who follow. They're the most followed
people.
But you
just
today.
Referenced Jesus.
Right. I said they're the most followed people today. Not in the past.
I was just talking about niggas don't have nobody.
Jesus.
The people who have the biggest followings today, the bulk of them have a whole lot of money.
Now,
at least 5.
You are late for breakfast. Not to cut you off, fellas. We had to.
And that's part of the reason why
I couldn't hear what you said. Say it again.
I said, and now we are.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Ferdinand? I couldn't hear you.
Well, I was trying to let Purple Durags.
I didn't mean to cut y'all off, but we at the 1 hour and 58 minutes, and you are late for breakfast. Go ahead,
Ferdinand. My bad.
Appreciate that, brother. Yeah, man, it's a thing where people follow the money. They follow what they believe the money is in today's world. That's the bulk of people. It's not everybody, but it is a large majority of the people. And we've seen this over and over again, where there might be a super dope movie that might not have the A-list actors in it, right? It might not have 200 million behind the budget, but in that movie will do fairly decent, right? But a similar movie, right? A similar movie with A-list actors, and you put a little more money behind it and a little more pizzazz. Now those actors, they're the leaders of the world.
Yeah, that's marketing. You talking about getting the word out. I'm saying today in 2025, right? Like next month is the month of Ramadan. There are more people that are gonna fall in line in the month of Ramadan on the planet Earth than any fucking rapper, than any basketball player, than any fucking Donald Trump, any nigga that voted. There'll be more people that'll be playing the Taraweeh prayer on the night of power. When the lunar moon comes out, there will be more people around the globe praying Taraweeh than there will be that voted. There will be watching any television show. And there ain't nobody, that's what I'm saying. The masses ain't following the money. That's elementary right there. Because the masses is following the proof. The masses is following their heart. The masses is following their elders, their ancestors. That's what the masses.
Not if they're living in a
Can I please say
bills to pay. So yes, they do have a spiritual connection to whoever they believe God is, which is important. But we got to look at the reality of what life is like, where there's been a massive amount of debt incurred in that country or in that state. Now those people are working endlessly to pay bills, similar to what we see right here in America, right? So when you have those types of challenges on a daily basis and on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, now you're talking about a bunch of people who may have been highly spiritual before this government came in and switched things up, but they start to slowly move towards the money. It's happened all over the world, bro, and it's happened here long time ago. It's just really, really bad now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, for you, I can understand it might be that way, but like I'm saying, in a month's time, when the lunar moon comes, when that shows, when Ramadan comes, there will be masjids all over this globe. There will be parks all over this globe where people are gonna stop and drop in all of this shit, and they're gonna go and make Taraweeh. They're gonna go pray. They're gonna follow the rules. They're gonna they're gonna fall in line with the obligatory commitments to the month of Ramadan, and it don't have shit to do with money. And it's gonna be more than any album sold. It's gonna be more than any fucking vote, any TV show watched, any car being bought, and it ain't got nothing to do with money.
What are we talking about here? We talking about Ramadan and all this other shit. Like what I was talking about, you cut me off, and shut me down to talk about all this other shit.
You was talking about some old people.
I wasn't talking about the old people. I was speaking on what niggas was talking about. Now you talking about Ramadan. Hey, this concludes Purple Do Rag at the 2-hour mark. Wait, Chips Brandon.
Is this your closing remarks, homie?
Yeah, this is my closing.
He took himself off the screen.
He said he was out. Yeah, but yeah, you were saying.
You gonna let Mega say his closing remarks, and then you last.
Oh yeah, I gotta get to work, but yeah, I was just conclude on that when you was talking about you giving the information for the past 7 years, but most people don't want to receive the information because they're thinking about money. And I was just saying those people that are thinking about money are thinking about money. So you ain't gonna get through to those people. But the groups of people that are looking for some truth and trying to find their message and trying to find their way, they not thinking about the money. They thinking about what they thinking about. If you are reaching out to the people that are thinking about the money, yeah, of course they're gonna be thinking about the money. They don't want to hear that shit because you ain't talking about no money. You might be on target.
Do they have bills?
Everyone has bills that I know of.
That means that they getting the money every month so they can pay their bills. They might be doing what you were explaining in Ramadan. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. But Ramadan is for a short period of time. The whole year requires a roof over your head.
Well, yeah, I was using Ramadan as an example that people are following in line. I was saying the people that are followed, most people want to follow somebody's bank account. I'm like, that ain't the most people. That's the minority.
That was a real good analogy. Like you said, Jesus been gone for years. Muhammad been gone for years. They got the most followers. I give you that. I give you that. I can see that.
They still following. And like when you go to the your holy day on Friday, is the people that go to your temple number
54.
Temple number 54. If you got 50 people in there on Friday, 20 people, 10 people on Friday, how many of those people are in there for the money? Are they in there to get some money? Or are they following the message for the money?
You'd have to ask them.
No, I'm just saying from you just throw up a number. Just random. Would you think do you think they're there for the money, or do you think they're there for the lesson for the lesson for their message?
I think you'd have to ask them.
No, I'm asking you.
You could ask me what I'm there for, but you'd have to ask them what they're there for.
He asking you what you think they there for.
Yeah, because just like you said, the people won't want to follow your message because they're looking for a bank account. That's what you said. And I can't ask all the people that you're saying that not following your message. So I'm asking you.
When we go to the world of the Moors of today, there's a lot of sensitivity in that space when somebody speaks for them directly, like what they are thinking.
No, I'm asking what you're thinking. What you think?
I can speak to what I've observed in behavior, but when we talk about what someone is there for, in that community of people, you would need to ask them directly. That's not a question that's fair for me to answer, knowing how they react to things like that.
No, I was asking because you were saying majority of people following the money, and I'm like, only people I know that follow money is prostitutes. Only people I know that follow money is fucking whores.
You want me to read you the definition of prostitute? Because it'll blow your mind when you know the real definition of it.
Okay.
The guy with the books.
Mm-hmm.
When the last time you read anything? Never, nigga.
That's one of the most iconic lines in the history of fucking cinema. You say, when the last time you read? Never, nigga.
Are you ready? Here it is right here. Prostitute. To offer freely to a lewd use or to indiscriminate lewdness. First definition. Second definition. To give up to any vile or infamous purpose, to devote to anything base, to sell to wickedness, as to prostitute talent, to the propagation of infidel principles, to prostitute the press, to the publication of blasphemy. Third definition, to offer or expose upon vile terms or to unworthy persons.
Yeah, you made my point. Those are the people that follow the fucking money. It's prostitutes.
What dictionary? What dictionary is that, bro?
Is that Black's Law?
Okay.
Yeah. You confirmed my point.
That shit was deep when it said prostituting talent, like selling your soul type. Yo, that's crazy how they broke it down.
That was actually helpful. That was great. When you said it's gonna blow my mind. Nah, it confirmed everything. Like we were saying the other night, like that. They say in Corinthians 3:3, the scripture isn't written on a tablet. It's not written with ink. It's written on your fucking heart. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to read no book to know what a fucking prostitute is. And that's what I was telling you. That's who follows the money is a fucking prostitute. And you just
so let me touch that, right? So I agree with you, but I also look at the divine paradox of that. Right? So this is the other side of the polarity. It's important to know the definitions of these words, because we got to keep in mind that we're using words that we didn't create. We may have created the root of these words, and they may have traveled through a bunch of our tribes and our ancient ancestors before it got to the Europeans and then got to us. But it's still words we didn't create. So these words that are created by someone else, they're talismans that we're utilizing. We got to know the real root and the real meaning to these words, or else what happens is we create a false reality using words we didn't create. Now we got a real problem at the mental and spiritual levels that we're not able to really explain when we're having certain issues with our behavior. And it's just like, nah, you know, I could do it. I could do what needs to be done. And then you just keep doing this thing that's just weird and it's robotic. And where does it come from? Well, it comes from suggestion. It comes from utilizing words, listening to words, seeing symbols and sensing symbols and hearing symbols that translate based on what the real definition is, based on what the real origin is.
I got you. So in that, to your argument, why would you say the people don't want to hear the truth because they want to follow money if you believe these words that you just spoke?
All right, I'll go ahead and break it down. Keep on listening. In the Quran of Mecca, chapter 2, I believe is verse 8, it speaks about the spiritual consequence of living in wickedness, right? Well, you can't hear and you can't see. It says it right in the Quran.
What surah is that?
Chapter 2, verse 8, I believe it is 8 or 9. One of the
no, the surah. You know the surah's name?
Well, before we get into that, let me answer this question that you asked. Right? Why can't the people hear? Why can't they see? Why won't they gravitate to what is the truth? Well, it's because they've been programmed to run from it. When you tell a group of people for so long, so many decades, that a certain amount of information is occult, esoteric, and it's wickedness, it's witchcraft, well, if they get shunned in their community because they dive into it, or if they get thrown into a mental institution because they decide to try some of it, well, it's going to start to help to create this negative reinforcement for all the other people. They're going to follow in line. Monkey see, monkey do. Well, if you want to lock that behavior in, then you start getting a real good control on the media that's coming out. That's coming into their ears, into their eyes. Then you make sure you poison their food and you put it right on the nutrition facts label in the ingredients list so they know what they're getting and they still ingest it anyway because they're hooked on sugar and salt and enriched flour, not understanding that these are drugs that they are ingesting and they're becoming addicted to. And then on top of that, you put them in a position where technology goes to a whole nother level. So now the bulk of people are sitting all day long. They're not moving about carrying wood and going back and forth and doing all this. No, they're sitting in front of a computer and typing. They're sitting in front of a phone and they're answering it. So now they're doing this thing called a sedentary lifestyle. While they do it inside of a building where they get no sunlight. Then they go home and they can't sleep worth crap because they got a bunch of lights on called iPads and iPhones and computers and lights and night lights. And they got smell goods that are extremely toxic. Now, when you take all of these pieces and put them together, you create a situation of a group of people who will be so out of control that you can easily control them. And they won't be able to hear truth because their lifestyle is so far from balance that they don't even realize it. They think that when they get the emotional feeling in church on Sunday, when the choir is going in, right? They getting uplifted. They thinking that they ascended. And they're not really realizing how low that they've actually come to because right after that service, they go and eat hot dogs and hamburgers and French fries that's boiled in canola oil. All of these things are heavily toxic, and it also goes against the doctrine that they are supposed to be honoring. It talks about a father and a mother that they're supposed to be honoring for that day's meal. So when we think about all of this and put it together, the spiritual price for living this way is death, the iron price. Now, that death is going to come in different types of ways for different people. For some of them, it's financial death. For others, it's spiritual death. For others, it's actual death. For some of them, it's death of relationships. It's death in so many different ways. For some of them, it's fast death. For most of them, it's slow death, while somebody's harvesting their energy at the same time. And they're making sure that the programming keeps them in a position where Ferdinand walks up to them and says, hey, man, Venus is in Aries today. What? Yeah, man. I gotta go, man. I gotta go and take care of this over here, man. It's good seeing you, though, man. Well, why are you walking away? Because I said Venus is in Aries. Because you've been programmed to operate that way, to run from the truth.
All right, that's cool, but maybe that's not your target audience either. Just same way, like you don't listen to hip hop, right? So when fucking Lil Baby just dropped a new album, shit don't matter to you. It ain't because he's not making his music for you either. You're not his target audience. So maybe the people that your message is not going to, just it's no difference than Jesus in the Bible when they was told to go to the lost sheep. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not really talking about my personal message. I'm more so talking about the collective.
But you were using you as an example. I'm saying you because that's
but
the example.
I'm talking about the collective of people who are teaching the truth. The vast majority of the population are not gravitating to these speakers, and it goes. The reason why is the same reason of the one-on-one conversation scenario I just gave of me telling the homie, hey, what's up, homie? Hey, see Venus is in Aries? Well, if you do that with random individuals that you know, most of them are going to find some kind of way to get out of that conversation as quickly as possible. Well, if that's the case on that one-on-one level, we can see why the population runs from individuals who teach the actual real truth. And they can pull up all kinds of books. They can sit back and explain how to achieve purity, all of these things. And they won't listen to it because it hits triggers. And those triggers are tied to regressed trauma or perspective on it. I can take you all the way down the rabbit hole on this, bro. You can try to make it about if it's somebody's taste. If that's their palate to be able to listen to something, but I'm talking about the collective of people who are actually teaching the truth, and there's only a few of them. We're talking about across the entire world, maybe 100,000 are actually teaching the real truth. We've got 9 billion people. That's a small population of the people. That's less than 1%. All I'm doing is giving it to you based upon the full scale picture of what's going on. I address everything that really matters. So we're talking about media ingestion, food ingestion, how people are living. This is what determines what you go after in your life. What you become within is what you're going to existentially focus on. Go ahead, let's go further down the rabbit hole.
Now,
we just scratching the surface right now. I can take you further.
I mean, we could go further, but the thing is, like, your thing is being right. My thing is not being right. My thing is
not being right. My thing is actually having the truth.
When you make definite,
the real truth.
When you make definite comments, when you speak in definites. So, like, for you to say, "Hey, out of these billion people on the planet, it's only a couple," or you're speaking in definites. So that's literally like the definition of being right. Like,
one of the things that I noticed about you is that you like to focus on what you think I'm wrong about.
I never said you were wrong. Right, you see, this is what I'm saying. You want to be right. So you talk about me saying you're wrong. I never said you were wrong. I never one time said you were wrong. I never one time said you were wrong. I never once said you were wrong, but you want to be right. So that's why you like talk about me saying you wrong. I never said you were wrong.
Yeah.
Why don't you do this? Why don't you address this comment right here?
Yeah, she made a good point. He's speaking on a deeper level. I mean, really, it's really what he's saying and what you're saying about what he's saying. I see in this comment. he's speaking on a deeper level that not many people will understand. He's
agree.
on a different wave. Not everyone will understand. Like that's why I say, like, like like I kind of feel chips on that because look, bro, I'm gonna keep it real. Like when I hear you talk, you got my full attention. But I'm into knowledge. I'm into information. I want to learn. I want to learn new shit. You know what I'm saying? So like, but like he said, everybody don't want to learn, bro. Everybody ain't trying to learn. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like I will say, I agree that the things you're saying, the things we ingest from the food, the media, because like you said, ingesting is not just food. Ingesting is the sounds, the frequencies. You ingesting all of that. What you watch, yeah. So like, you're right. All the things we ingest do make it different, right? Yeah, you're right. So it's like, but I feel like Pretty Lady Chrissy, she that was like a real way of getting right in between both of y'all, like really with what Stan.
I mean, tell me what one thing that you just said that I said was wrong, because I don't disagree with anything you said. I just know there are multiple perspectives, right. And it ain't for me. Like I said, it's not about being right. That's all I said. And when you speak in definites, it's like
you're the one who asked me why people don't listen. I was just
I was bringing it up because you said I've been on this path giving people this information for 7 years and they don't want to listen. And you said most of them don't want to listen because they want to look at what's in your bank account. What I came back with is that's not the truth. Most of the people are following people who they don't give a fuck about what's in their bank account. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying you speaking in definites, which is wrong. That's what I'm saying. You can't speak in definites because the majority of the people on this planet that are in holes that are following people, the most followed people, nobody cares about their fortune. Nobody's Googling what damn Muhammad or Jesus or Moses' net worth is. That's what I was saying.
Let me ask you this question, right? When people are ingesting food that's high sugar content, high salt, a lot of vegetable oils that are not good for you, and it's processed, not getting much sleep, don't drink much water, sedentary lifestyle, what kind of actions does that produce? What kind of decision?
Fucking crackhead.
Yeah.
But I don't, but I mean, yeah, that's just comments, but that doesn't, I don't know you saying that to say what. It's like, if they're not listening to what you deem as truth, that means they're not listening because they're not getting proper sunlight.
I'm not talking about anything that I deem is truth.
No, I mean that's what we got on this subject. You were like, there's
a reason why Root Tribes has been very effective with helping people heal themselves of disease that Western medicine doesn't believe there are cures to. And the reason why is because we use the actual truth to help people align themselves back with the golden ratio. See, the golden ratio is truth. We can see it all through nature.
Okay, so let me dial it back. Maybe I need to ask a question. Why did you say the reason we got on this because you said I've been giving people this information for 7 years, but they don't want to hear it because they focus on a bank account and what kind of car you drive and this type of thing. Why? What was
I just explained like so many other pieces to that, and the only thing you seem to have heard was about a bank account and money.
You understand? You said that they're off balance because they're not getting proper sunlight. They're not eating. They're not eating, taking care of themselves. We heard all that. I'm saying the reason why we got on that is because you said the people aren't following the truth because they're focused on the money. That's how we got on this subject.
When you're living in a really low vibration by doing all of those things improperly that I just explained, that low vibration keeps you in a space of dependency. Now, if you're in a society where money gets you pretty much everything that you need, well, this is how you're going to spend the majority of your time when you're not asleep. So if you want to measure what I've been talking about to see if it's facts, look at the 168 hours of almost anybody's week in America. right? So let's say that a third of that time is sleep. So that's like, I don't know, 50 hours or something like that, right? And then you got a little bit of time for whatever it is you want to do. But
Yeah, they working 80 of those hours, 40 of those hours.
Working that job because they like the people there.
Yeah,
they're not working that job because they just want to be better at what they do. Like you might be one of those people, but the bulk of people are not working the job for those reasons. Most of them, from my understanding, are working the job so they can get some money. And this happens as a result of finding ways to get people down to their lowest vibration possible. And that requires a lot of engineering, social engineering. And it gets you to a position where even though you might have a love for God, because of this carnal nature being so low, well, what are you going after on a regular basis? You're going after what you think is food. Oh, you think that what's in the grocery store is food. Well, that costs money. You're going after clothes. You want to look good when you go to the bar and to the club. Last time I checked, those things cost money. You want to have a car that works the way it's supposed to. Maintenance costs money. Car note costs money. Lease costs money. Right? We can keep going down these money trails, and I'll help you see that the majority of mankind in civilized societies, this is what their mind is focused on the bulk of the week, every single week, all year long. And then maybe the exception is Ramadan.
Good conversations, man.
The reality of what has happened, humanity has failed. We have fucked all the way up. Now the indigenous societies are still doing well. They stay away from the rest of us who wear clothes and eat fake food and do all kinds of crazy stuff, like have a whole bunch of 90-degree angles and squares and rectangles around us. Right? Yeah. That's crazy to them. Their lifestyle's crazy to us, but they still live a couple 200-300 years.
It's
most
crazy.
People don't know it.
It's crazy that you say that, because when I a couple minutes back when we were talking about the literacy thing and people reading for these years, and I still got this map pulled up on my phone, and it's showing like the parts of the world where they have really low literacy rates. It's in fucking Western Africa, in Western South Africa, where they're saying the people aren't. This is the most illiterate part of the whole globe, but this is also the most undeveloped part of the globe too.
The thing about it is, it was never really important for us to be literate. It was something that we bought into. In the beginning, we connected with the plants and the animals. Yeah. We connected with the stars. We connected with the planets. Eventually, we developed language. Eventually, we developed writing or scribing. These things happen over time. But yeah, in the beginning, we learned from observing.
Yeah. Nobody got to tell a lion to hear a lion, yo.
Yeah.
That's what killed me so much. We supposed to be made in God's image, but we the only ones who don't know shit when we get here. Every animal, they know exactly what they supposed to eat. They know what they supposed to stay away from. They know, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, that's a trick. It ain't that we don't know. They pulled us away from that.
Absolutely. And Dr. Sebi, watching his videos, rest in peace, he tells us, because he grew up in the jungle as a kid in Honduras. He tells us about his childhood. He tells us about how his mom, how she lived. And then he goes into our ancient mother. He literally calls her Mama. Mama lived in the forest. Mama was naked, right? And then he would follow that up with Mama had the highest level of integrity. And for a long time, I really thought about that. I was like, what does he mean? Highest level of integrity. And the highest level of integrity will be to expose yourself fully to the sun all day long. That would be one of the highest levels of integrity. And then what are we doing? We're honoring thy mother and thy father for thy days to be long.
Damn, how'd you come up with that one?
I think a lot of people, and when I say a lot of people, I'm talking about pastors and clergy. I think they misinterpret that covenant.
No, I'm talking about integrity. I get the honor that mother and father. I'm talking about the integrity part.
All right, so let's take it to plants and dogs just for a second, right? Any animals, zebras, giraffes, none of them are wearing clothes. They get in the sunlight all day long, right? The plant, if you put a washcloth on it, just for 2 or 3 days, it might not die, but it's gonna wither a whole bunch. Well, the human body is made just like a plant, right? And when you put barriers to the sun on it, now the lifespan is cut short. Now we've got laws that put us in a position to not have indecent exposures and all this other kind of stuff. But at one time, no, we weren't wearing any clothes, or we was wearing very little. And that's right up until colonization in this land, especially that book that I was just reading.
Yeah.
So the integrity part, I'm sorry, Megan, but just to answer your question, Chip, the integrity part, the highest level of integrity would be to live in and consume of the environment that I would say is of our descent nature. So for us, that would be the forest, and that would be the rainforest.
All right, so are we having the same definition of integrity? Because I thought having integrity is being honest, is being true.
Yes, that's what I'm explaining right now.
Exposing yourself, exposing your full self, that's being honest, like
and consuming of the descent nature environment you're supposed to be in. So consuming from that forest, being surrounded by that forest, breathing in the oxygen that comes from the trees of that forest, and the carbon dioxide we breathe out, we give it to them as a blessing. That is full integrity, being in that type of environment and being ass naked in that environment. This is how our foremothers.
We do hide behind clothes. I mean, let's be honest. We all know. I mean, and like I know how you watch Chips about the man-woman thing. So I say for both sides, man, we can put on a certain outfit and we feeling like we're covered, so we're presenting ourselves the way we want to be seen. A woman can put on tighter jeans that'll make her body look different, tighter clothes that'll make her, a waist trainer or something, make her body. So I'm not showing you my true self. I ain't got that level of integrity. I'm gonna show you what I want you to see to get your attention.
It reminded me of that children's book. What was it called? Like The Emperor's New Clothes.
Mm-hmm.
When he was naked and marching around town, and because he thought he was fly type of thing. Like, I totally get it now. Yeah. When you say the highest form of integrity, that's real.
That's how we ultimately honor thy mother and thy father, because that verse isn't about honoring, Miss Jackson or honoring, Mrs. Mega. It's not that. And we should be honoring our mothers. Make no mistake about it. I don't want to get anybody confused on the podcast. But we're supposed to be honoring our ancient foremothers and our ancient forefathers. And how we honor them is simply by living as close to the way they lived as possible. And then we live longer as a result.
I can dig that. I'm here for that. That was real. But yeah, I ain't gonna lie though. I gotta sign out because I really do gotta finish this damn work, and my eyelids are starting to get heavy.
Y'all be blessed. Mega be blessed.
No doubt, bro. For real.
Yeah. Oh, before I go too, people, we gotta tap into how fucking thinking about the Trump shit from earlier. We gotta tap into how government actually works. Because what I've learned in these past couple of days is that I've learned this from seeing all these posts about Trump and all these people. Motherfuckers don't understand how government works at all. And when we talk about reading and being literate, there you go. because I really realized that from seeing all of these posts in the last couple of days is people really don't even know how the judicial system even works. And that's something that we gotta be on. But yeah, y'all hold it down. Peace never divided. I'll see y'all brothers later.
All right. Thursday, yeah.
Peace.